Let your kids watch it!
Welcome everyone to the UndercoverBrony Reviews. The episode reviewed today will be Addressing Memories, Cakes for the Memories, Memnagarie, Deep Tissue Memories, Harvesting Memories, and Memories and More, all written by Josh Haber.
So with all the craziness that's been going on in the world, I'm happy to say we had a little glimmer of hope these past 6 weeks. It was good to see ponies again.
Yeah, it was nice. In a world full of dark gray filters and fire, out from the darkness comes a little bit of pone back into your soul. It was nice. It was nice to see everybody again. And yeah, speaking of seeing each other again, it's your boys, the cute pony thrillers, the ever-free radio killers, UndercoverBrony. We've been keeping it real since 2014, bro. Why don't we have more subscribers? Anyway.
Yeah, we keep it real.
Yeah, dude. We never sold out. We never conformed. We never got a sponsor from Raid Shadow Legends or Dollar Shave Club. We never set up a Patreon. We both work. What do we need other people's money for?
Right. So
maybe if we got better cameras, though. I mean, I've been using Logitech webcams for literally 8 years.
Pretty much same year.
I mean, yeah, we don't have a sweet snowball microphone. But, we're keeping it real with that 2010 video quality. So it's a clip show. When John told me it was like, hey, we're going to review the clips shows, I didn't realize it was actually like legit dead-ass 6 different clip shows, which is kind of impressive. And we'll talk about it in just a second. But the madman over here wrote every episode that was in each clip show. So
I wrote the episode name, I wrote the setup, and I wrote what clips were shown in each of the clip shows.
So not only did I feel nostalgic, not only did I feel old, I also felt old and nostalgic at the same time. So I have to be honest, that was impressive when I was talking about them being clip shows. I can't think of a single television show in history where a show was so massive that the inevitable clip shows, because I don't think any other episode in the show was ever a clip show. They showed flashbacks once in a while, but it was never full-on clips. It's pretty impressive. I've never known of a show where they had to have their own mini-series of clip shows. This is 6 episodes with an overconnecting premise. And yeah, it's insane. Why'd you write all the episodes? No one else did that.
I know that because I'm awesome, So,
okay,
or it could just be that I'm a nerd. Probably the latter one. Anyway, so all of these episodes revolve around Twilight coming and reminiscing with one of the main 6.
Yes.
But that's also with the fact that Spike and Starlight are using those memories and that reminiscing to make the scrapbook that was given at the end of the last problem. The one we thought was the Harry Potter book or whatever it is. Oh, the every episode torrented off of like BitLord or something.
Every pony has its horn. Yeah, the idea here is that Twilight's going around and talking to everybody. It's actually, we always talk about how this show has nice little bookends. How like the first episode starts with, the book opening, the last problem ends with it closing. And with this one, if you were to watch this before the last problem, but after the last fight with Chrysalis, Tyrek, and Cozy Glow, it adds even more bows on top of it, because in the first episode, Twilight was running all around Ponyville and talking to the various was talking to the ponies that would end up being her friends. It's in a different order, but they're doing similar things. In the first one, Rarity was like decorating or whatever, but in this one she's making Twilight a dress. The first time Applejack's doing catering. The next time for this one, I think she's still doing catering. Fluttershy's still doing something with animals. It's nice.
What? I just realized that I didn't notice that until you mentioned it.
Like I said, they're in a different order, because the original order was like
Applejack for the food, Rainbow Dash who gave her the weird mane blow dry or whatever. Then
Rainbow Dry.
Then it was Rarity, because she's like, oh, whatever happened to your coiffure? And then it was Fluttershy after that.
I never said this, but it's always really surreal to me, especially in this clip show, whenever I hear see season 1 and to an extent season 2 stuff, but season 1 stuff, because those first 2 seasons got memed so much to hell. Every second of frame and animation and dialogue was used, or every random innocuous sentence was turned into a song. So seeing season 1 clips, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm just getting flashbacks of remixes, animations, Picture Perfect Pony, Team Fortress 2 mods. When how like back in July of 2013 or something, Valve released the Source Filmmaker, so you could start making movies in with any Valve or whatever assets, and then 4 or 5 months after the fact, then some mad lad created pony models, and it was just over from then.
Mm-hmm.
I found one video I could never find again. It was like Pinkie Pie and Iron Man fighting over an action figure, I think, but then Rayman comes out at the end and swipes it. I've been looking for that video ever since. That's not the point. So yeah, we're going to review all 6 of them in one go. We probably should have rehearsed how we're going to do this, but how I assume we're going to do this is we're going to tell you the episode, talk about it, tell you what episodes are in there. But let's be honest, you probably recognize every single episode, you just don't know the names. Well, that's what your boys at the UB are for.
Mm-hmm. So the first episode that is here is called Addressing Memories.
Get it?
And
you get it?
It's basically where Spike and Starlight is just is talking to Rarity, and Rarity's like, so let me just get this straight. You just want Twilight to reminisce, and you'll get the stuff in the book. Yes, that's how we do it. So we'll be hiding back here. And
Starlight's like, I'm casting some magic bullshit, and when she talks, we'll get memories and put them in the scrapbook. And I was like, okay, bruh. And yeah, that's the setup for this episode. Sets up all the other episodes where, that's it. They need Twilight to reminisce about their times with one of the main 6, and then boom, each episode, memory goes in the scrapbook.
Mm-hmm. So and most of these episodes follow a similar format of how they do the clips. There was a lot of stuff with the initial series premiere, especially. So the first one that they have is them talking to Stephen Magnet.
That makes sense.
Sacrificing her tail.
Stephen Magnet was like a fat meme for a long time, but then everyone was like, wait a minute, he's literally only in that one episode. Maybe we can chill.
And then it happens where he comes in. I'm Stephen Magnet, Cranky's best piece.
Yeah, so that's obviously the season 1 premiere. Then after that, it shows the and then it jumps really far. And then I was stoked because I wanted to be able to look John in the eye via electronic communication and be like, screw you, the clip show knows Rarity Takes Manhattan was hot shit. Or at least that song was really good. Of course, then it also shows the part where I semi-forgot about this, not because I forgot it happened, but because how funny I thought it was. Is that because in that episode she does that, but then she like runs Chinese sweatshop in an apartment with all the main six, and like, but and Raymond was like, but we're gonna miss the play, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, do you want to let me down? And they're like, no, and then she's like, exactly.
Great, your pony
shut up,
Phillies.
And I'm like, damn. I'm like, okay, Stephen Magnet, classic. Ray Takes Manhattan, 2 clips. I'm like, that's awesome. Then they completely, pardon my British, they completely cock it up, because then they bring in Carts Before the Ponies, which -5 stars still. And at this point, I'm like, okay, look, I get it. You don't want to just have the obvious clips, okay? But you have 200 episodes in the show, almost. No, wait, is it 200? It's just over 200, right?
Yeah, 222 episodes.
You have 220. Oh, that's quirky. 222. You have 222 episodes, and I know the movies are canon. But I also know that they, for some reason, don't like to reference Equestria Girl stuff, which I guess makes sense because Rarity wasn't there. But my point is, you have so much stuff to choose from. Why did you have to choose Cart Before the Ponies? I almost wanted to turn it off right there and be like, hey, John, you're flying solo. But I didn't. I wasn't actually going to do that. I just said that because it was funny.
Then it goes to when she gets corrupted by Discord.
Again, classic. I'll always remember that 9 and how she like tears through the rock.
And then
let's get you.
Before they actually showed like all the different like when they could actually show like wounds and stuff, it was just the little like cross sign or whatever it is, the number symbol on the cheek.
So to keep in mind, we've gone from 1 to 4 to 6 to 2. And now we go
over to 6 as well.
6 as well, yeah.
With the ending where everything comes together for the Rarity for You thing. You know, you have the...
That was okay. That was I forgot about that for a second. Yeah, that was like her charity thing, wasn't it, or whatever?
That was when
the episode
got Thor in Manhattan.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Then we jump back to season 1 because then it shows us Gem and Dog and Pony Show, which is still one of the top tier episodes, easily top 100, and it's kind of quirky. I'm like, wait, this show really could have a top 100. Then after this, we jump over to season.
It was
8?
In between season 8 and 9.
That's right. The Christmas episode. Yes. So then we jump in between season 8 and 9 for the really good Christmas episode. And yeah, Spike's like, Applejack, do you have Rarity? I know that's not how he says it. And then, you know, that was cute. That was quirky. Then we go back to, which is still one of my, I forgot how much I loved this episode until I saw the clip, is the episode where Rarity cosplays as Carmen Sandiego after her face turn, you know, detective. What was that show called again? The episode called again?
Rarity Investigates.
Okay, I thought that's what it was called, but I'm like, no, that title's too simple. But no, apparently that's what it is.
Yeah.
Then from that, we go over to DWK's favorite scene in the show, where she busts out a guitar solo on an electric guitar solo on a 2-string acoustic when fire shoot up in the background. Dude, I haven't seen DWK in forever. I think he's dead.
Dude, but that was still one of the best things he ever did. The only thing of crazy on my guitar autism is my waifu
faggotry. I love that guy. And then, and one of Rarity's best moments from the finale finale of 9, where she chucks a thick rock, or if you will, a chunky Tom at the villains when they were about to gangbang Twilight. I'm sorry, steal her powers.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was quirky.
And there were little tidbits here and there, like I think it was something along the lines of like Spike's tail got hit on or something, and he almost cries out, and and Twilight's just like, "Oh, is there someone back there?" You know, the weird ways they tried to do that. So the next one we have is called Cakes for the Memories. I like the little callback there to to Tanks for the Memories. Still
And
very,
I
very
love how
good.
both of them are callbacks to that cheesy pop punk song. Who was that? All American Rejects? Oh, but thanks for the memories. Thanks for the memories. Or whatever. I don't know, dude. So,
Someone actually wanted it's like, don't make my funeral when I die, don't make my funeral boring. Make it to where there's like a freaking disco ball that comes down and speakers, and then just confetti going everywhere where thanks for the memories starts playing.
you see, I'd want to do something different. I'd be down for the disco ball, but then I want to just play absolutely nothing but Michael Bolton.
Right.
So
This is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow.
love is a wonderful thing. Okay, so the idea here is, again, memories of Pinkie Pie, but the idea here is that Twilight is here to, like, Pinkie Pie's like, dude, I got this sick recipe for cupcakes, bro. It's going to blow your mind. You eat the cupcakes, and they help jog memories.
Mm-hmm.
And Starlight and Spike are just like, whatever works, bro. So,
Yeah.
also, something also extra super duper quirky. The cupcakes actually work, which is just, of course. So, of course, the first thing we go to is when they first meet, which, if I remember right, is the clip where, the iconic one where Twilight's like, hello, and then, Pinkie Pie does the, or whatever.
Yeah.
That gas they've reused like 8 times in the show, probably more.
It was almost like their Wilhelm scream.
Yeah. Then we got Giggle at the Ghosties, which is great because you know what? When I'm confronting with my personal demons over my failures and the abject horror that is existence and non-existence, I too start giggling at it.
Mm-hmm.
My doctor says that's called. He didn't tell me what it is. He just said it's something called BPD.
Oh, yes.
And then he called me manic, which I'm like, hey, I'm not manic. I'm perfectly... I said, he called me manic, and I said, I'm not manic. And he's like, yeah, you are. And I'm like, I wasn't talking to you. So they do that. The next thing they do is, what do you have here? Oh, that's right. It's the party planning cave, where they fell into her secret lair, and Rainbow Dash was like, bro, she's like more organized than you. And Twilight's like, I will kill your parents. And then, Pinkie Pie comes out, they have some laughs, whatever.
What I love is when Applejack finds the file that is just like, oh, they're planning their 50th. That ain't nearly that old. Also, their 100th, then their 500th.
Next is, something? I remember when season 3 was airing, and every episode except the premiere, everyone seemed to hate, of course, except Sleepless in Ponyville, because once upon a time, Scootaloo used to be the GOAT, and I thought one of the more interesting episodes was the cloning pool or whatever from whatever that was, but it was the one with all the Pinkie Pie clones. Yeah, it was like
Pinkie Pies.
Yeah, it was like half Lazarus Pit, half whatever made Ben Riley, and it's specific. In hindsight, I should have known if they had this clip they were going to show this. The one where one of the clones turns her face into Gen like 1 or 2 Pinkie.
Yeah.
That was nice. I forgot how unsettling that looked. I'm seeing it in my head right now. Everywhere I go, I hear him. Perfectly cringe, as all things should be. And next, I don't remember this one. It just says random parties.
Oh, it's basically all the random parties that Pinkie Pie would throw. So like the birthiversary and
oh, that's right. They had a mini clip show in the clip show.
Exactly. It was all the random little parties that she's done. It was really fucking weird.
I feel no wonder why this took so long to come out. I feel bad for the poor bastards that had to like dig through all the last 9 years of Pony Television to find these clips.
I know, right?
Someone was getting paid a decent salary for this.
Mm-hmm.
Then next is the twitchy tail bit, which is the episode about religion. That's not about religion.
First Dave.
That is that episode, too. Right? Dave Polsey one. Yeah. Imagine that. And I know, and I'm not even calling him a liar. I'm just saying it's funny how it all worked out. The atheist, apparently super atheist, who used to work for South Park for a little bit, wrote an episode about I don't know, someone trying to like demystify superstitious stuff. Is like, no, it's not about religion or faith or belief, and it's like, why the fuck you lying? So next is the
it's
where she tries to do stand-up comedy for the cakes. I swear I saw that bit of Pinkie Pie hitting those drums for like, you know, a solid second and a half in so many PMVs, you know, when they wanted to make it look like that you know, the ponies were playing instruments.
Mm-hmm.
That was quirky.
I also liked, you know, that it had the little Wiggy Your Tail song.
Oh, yeah.
Because in all reality, I don't care what anyone says, that's a cute song.
See, this is another one where it's like, Twilight wasn't even here for this, so...
Although she was in for like 30 seconds of the episode. And
that's true.
Where she fucks it all up because she's just like, babies take a lot of work and some ponies are not cut out for the job. No, it's, I know babies are a lot of work, so I wanted to come help you because I know it's stressful. That's how she could have put it, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So next you have different costumes.
So like the different things she's dressed up in, like when she's dressed up like the Harley Quinn skater chick from Scaremaster.
Yeah.
She has that when she's dressed up like the present with the balloon feet or whatever from Dragon Shy, that kind of stuff. Oh, and when she's the chicken in Lunar Eclipse.
Next is Party Pooped Party.
Yeah, so when like basically the moral of that episode where it's like we want to bring Equestria to you instead of bringing Yakistan to you from a different part of.
That's right. I totally forgot for a little bit. It's not like other characters where, you know, you could like say, I don't know, Applejack like had her hoof in the economy or whatever, or what Rainbow Dash eventually led the military. No, freaking Pinkie Pie is dead ass like a political diplomat.
Yeah, right.
She's the Dennis Rodman to Yak Yakisan's Kim Jong Oof. Not Oof. Oof.
Kim Jong.
I meant to say hoof, but Kim Jong Oof.
I'll think about that. It's whenever North Korea launches a missile and just lands in the ocean. Kim Jong Oof.
Sounds like you just pulled a Kim Jong Oopsie. So next is, by the way, I'm upset.
Why?
They had no footage from Party of One in this entire clip series.
I know. I'm like,
It's
what
like
the hell?
it's like one of 3 episodes in this entire show. I would give a 6 out of 5 stars, and there was no mention. I understand, I understand it. I get it. But I don't get it. Everyone loves that episode. Find me one person that doesn't like that episode. I'll tell you how they're lying, how they're wrong, and why you should probably, I don't know, sell their online information to the Russians. Next is Pinkie Pie almost spilling the beans about Flurry Heart, which I forgot about that episode. I forgot about that episode a lot. And I remember seeing the clip. I'm like, man, that was really funny.
Yeah. Where she's like, instead of using a paper bag to breathe in, she's like, when she's blowing up a balloon.
Yeah. And then the next one, it just says, Pinkie helps Cheese Sandwich find his place, which I guess you could say, considering she has a kid.
Yeah.
He found his place all right.
It's funny when who was it?
Pinkie Cream Pie, am I right?
Well, it's funny. I was watching the Bronies react to the last problem, and it's when it switches over to Jack's plate after Little Cheese comes out, and he's just like, so let me get this straight. Cheese Sandwich put his mushroom chips in Pinkie's sugar waltz. I'm like, what the fuck?
I hate that. I love that and hate that.
I know, right?
I hate him. I hate his friends, his family, and his future adopted son named David. And if anyone else likes that, then I hate them, their friends, their family, and future non-binary, aromantic, female identifying daughter named Corthon. So next,
wait. If that's the case, would the boy be bygone?
I hate you. So next is the Smile song, and this will only be funny to me and John because he has everything in a Google documents. You know how you can edit it. So I wrote Smile song. So he wrote Smile song, and then next to it I typed "Suck my dong." And yeah, I mean, honestly, who could forget Smile song? I don't think anyone forgets Smile song. I think people forget how good that song still is, and was. This is legit one of the best songs out of those first 2 shows. I know when first 2 seasons. I know when people think of the first 2 seasons, the instant ones are like, Art of a Dress, Winter Wrap Up, and then those are all classics. Don't get me wrong, but Smile Song is a really good song.
But
I just want to see you smile. Yes, I do.
Well, what I find crazy about the song.
I want you to suck my dong.
Come on,
pretty baby, suck my balls all night. Shout out to Steel Panther. You used to be good, now you're only pretty good.
But what I find crazy about the Smile song is the fact that it was such a good song in such a bad episode.
Right? I think that's why people sleep on it. Like you literally, it's like you literally go from like the Beatles to like, I'm trying to think of a band because I can think of a lot of bad bands, but I know you haven't heard of them.
Yeah.
You ever listen to Courtney Love's band Hole?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you literally go from the Beatles to Hole. You go from like Love Me Do and Ticket to Ride and Come Together to Celebrity Skin. Screw you, Captain Marvel. You know,
Yeah.
I thought that movie was going to be a dumpster fire. I only thought it was kind of cringe. But the worst thing about that was them putting a whole song on the credits. I'm like, I get it. It's the 90s. I know you Disney boys had money for a Nirvana song. Or you could have at least done a garbage song. Shirley Manson is everything Courtney Love tried to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, so next is Fluttershy. By the way, I hate the Fluttershy episode. Not because I actually hate the Fluttershy episode, but they had to be quirky. It's the one title that doesn't have memories in the name.
Yeah.
This one's called...
It's kind of weird.
Memnagarie. Is that spelled wrong? Because I know how to say menagerie. Well, because of the Steven Universe movie. Shout out to Spinell. You're the only reason that show... You saved the show, but then the show got messed up again with Steven Universe Future. I almost thought for a second they were trying to write Memnagarie. I'm like, what the hell is that? But yeah, so the idea is Fluttershy is having a hard time getting the animals to perform properly.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so
hold on. One thing we forgot in the Pinkie Pie one that I'll kind of edit it back. Before we move on to Fluttershy, I do have to say that one of the best parts of Pinkie's clip show is the fact that near the end of it, she literally brings a giant cake into Twilight's bedroom.
Oh yeah, that was like the best part.
Gets onto her bed, and you just see her like open her eyes, and Pinkie's just sitting there like, "Hey, Twilight."
Could you imagine, especially considering Twilight's going to live forever or whatever? Can you imagine living for eternity knowing it's been 100 years since Pinkie Pie passed away, and then you still wake up with the slight fear she's going to be there? It's like that one Robot Chicken sketch they did where Jar Jar Binks' ghost haunts Darth Vader.
Right.
Oh, also, one last little tidbit I forgot. And I was so happy they finally acknowledged this after 10 years. They did, they had Twilight eat a cake, and she's like, no, that was supposed to bring up memories about how I talk about stuff really fast, even about stuff there should have been no way that I knew. Or something. Yeah. Which I'm like, you know what? That makes almost all of it worth it. Thank you, Hasbro.
Right.
So, yeah. So, Memnagarie, the idea is Fluttershy's having trouble with the animals, which at this point, I think everyone could have assumed that somehow, some way it was bullshit. But the key, my friends, you see, Fluttershy was not actually having issues with the animals. It was actually a Tetsuya Nomura plot twist. That was the act. They were in on the act the whole time. I mean, I get they did have a performance, but yeah, they were pretending to be dysfunctional for Twilight, which was.
And I gotta say, that ruse is probably the best acting anyone in this show has done, especially since it's considering animals, since 28 Pranks Later, where the CMC are just like, why are we being attacked by the ponies of Ponyville?
I was trying to think. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So,
yeah. So first up,
these
yes.
Starts off with Fluttershy saying that she has stage fright, which makes sense, but you still have to go through. You still have to fucking see Pinkie going apeshit.
Oh yeah, didn't you love that? You know, I think I remember liking Philly Manilli, but that was like one of my least favorite episodes as far as it comes to writing Pinkie Pie.
It was a good episode minus Pinkie Pie.
I remember when there was that other short-lived reaction series after Brony Base Cannon called it quits, and then Gigi, who's still a good friend of mine, but I haven't talked to him in a long time. He took over for a bit. That dude was a really good editor, man. And when we all got to this episode, everyone had the same reaction to Pinkie Pie. We were like, what the hell? This is like season 1, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Exactly.
it hit a little less hard than other examples of that later on because it was still season 5.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, it hit kind of hard in a different way because Pinkie Pie is... Look, long story short, when she's inconsistent, bro. But yeah, Philly Vanilli, that was good. And then we dial back to the iconic Heartwarming Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the Undercover Brony's favorite episode, The Breezies.
Uh-huh.
You know what? We've told the story before, but it's been a few years. We tried to review that episode.
Took us 3 times.
The first time failed super hard.
Mm-hmm.
The
first
second time we tried, it failed, and we were so like I was annoyed. John was like furious, and I almost asked you, bro, do you want to just skip this episode? But I knew it wouldn't sit right, so we hashed it out. We had a little therapy. We laughed. We hugged. We cried. He tried to kiss me, which was weird. And we finally reviewed the episode. And I tell you what, the episode was okay, but that whole process made me hate it. I have not watched that episode, nor our review for it. I have not watched the episode since I watched it twice because we kept having to try it. And I haven't watched our review for that in a number of years because every single time I see a single frame from that episode, I remember that pain in the ass crap that we went through.
Yeah, because basically how it happened was the first time it was completely my fault because at the time I was using my phone to record and I would run out of space on my phone. So if I didn't switch it over from my phone to the computer before deleting the video, I was fucked, basically.
Yeah.
And then the second time, we did this thing that I'm glad stayed because we were talking about Doctor Who at the end of it.
Yeah.
And it was basically where everything went just fine. And then, for some reason, it was where I had like a backup drive. I was taking up a bunch of room on my PC. And so I decided, okay, let's delete that drive. Keep in mind, I said this is a backup drive. But for some reason, it was like, okay, we'll delete this backup drive and the file from your normal drive. What? So that's why we had to do it 3 different times.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah.
Oh man. I'm sure it's a good episode still.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I'm ever gonna watch it again.
Yeah. Then we get to where Fluttershy is being heckled by the people from Fame and Misfortune.
I forgot how mean that was.
Yeah. And she's like, listen up. I am more assertive. And yes, it may take him a while to get there. But can you honestly say you learn a lesson once and completely change who you are? Boom.
I mean, if this was any other kid's show, maybe. But this is a good kid's show.
Mm-hmm.
So the next is the... Ready for it? Iconic Putting Your Hoof Down.
Mm-hmm.
Which I remember, like, sometime after the fact, I remember hearing some folks had mixed opinion on that episode. And that sort of started some of the mixed reaction to Fluttershy, because she was really popular those first 2 seasons. But about after season 3, she started to taper off, partially because she was still pretty popular, but the show realized, we're pretty close to overexposing her, so let's dial it back. But then this also started some of the inconsistencies with Fluttershy's character development, some may say.
Mm.
And I could go on for 20 minutes about how like characters like Fluttershy, Twilight, and Pinkie Pie, and Rainbow Dash, for instance, are inconsistent. All I'll tell you is this. Fluttershy is inconsistent, but it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Actually, Rarity and Applejack, gotta give them some credit. They're pretty consistent. I mean, there's a couple hiccups along the way, but significantly less.
Then it goes into Snooty Shy, Fluttergoth, and Hipster Shy. Fake it till you make it one of the best Fluttershy episodes.
Snooty Shy, Fluttergoth, and Hipster Shy are three of the best characters on the show. I wish we saw them again, but yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I feel like the animators got lazy because they look and sound just like Fluttershy. It's really weird. But yeah, three really funny, memorable characters. Loved it.
And I also loved how Hipster Shy was just like, this is where you can go and go and make the whole squad go, whoa, that pony is woke.
I forgot she said the word woke. Next is, I typed in Fluttergoth, and yep, there is I don't know how Letupita 725 HD has managed to not get taken down by Hasbro all these years. But yeah, Fluttershy's characters, Snooty, Hipster, and Goth. And yeah, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna watch that clip after we're done here.
Right. Then we got one of the other best ones. The only good part of Power Ponies, when she hulks out.
The Flutter Hulk.
Yes.
There's not much to say about this, except, have you heard about not skipping gym day? Next is the stare, which, come on.
Yeah.
Bro, you know what the stare is.
Against the cockatrices.
Yeah, dude.
It's like, I ought to find your mother and tell her what you've been doing, what you've been up to.
Next is next is when the stare doesn't work on those flash bees, which was a holy crap moment if I ever saw one, because the stare was actually built up as like a powerful finishing move, but then these bees just no sell it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They treat it like it's an AoE move from Smash. And they're too far away. But I gotta say, that was one of the best. Like, that was hands down. It wasn't necessarily it was not a map episode, but it still had Fluttershy and Twilight going on an adventure. Minific, I love that episode. It's so good.
Next
it's
is
so dark.
Fluttershy, which, I mean, as our good friend Prince Whatever said, it's a fantastic episode. I don't remember if he used the word fantastic, but it's a good episode. It was one of the bigger of the old Flutterdash required watchings back in the day. Next is one of the best episodes of its season, the Hooffields and the McCults.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I was still talking about the flash bees and stuff like that. The one where they have to where Zakora is getting sick.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah. But Hurricane Fluttershy, the scene where she's crying with the animals and the animals are cheering her up and, starts that, we're gonna get a montage, yeah. Montage! And, yeah, it was good.
That was great.
Then where you said...
And then it's the Hooffields and McCults.
Yeah, go here. Now go ahead with Hooffields and McCults.
Yeah, so then it's the Hooffields and McCults who she gets him to stop fighting, which is great. I thought that episode it's one of the best episodes of its season. And yeah, it's awesome. And then we go back to season 1 where she soothes the pained Manticore.
Mm-hmm.
which is one of her iconic moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then next you have here something called Chinzilla.
Yeah, it's that monster creature that Rainbow Dash gets and Discord get from Best Gift Ever. Where it's supposed to be a chinchilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that Christmas episode was cool.
And I love how it still has that little bit from Discord where he turned into a bunch of arrows. It's like, if only we had some pony good with animals.
Man, that Christmas episode ruled.
Uh-huh.
Next is the Mage Meadowbrook revelation.
Mm-hmm. Which I love because Twilight had gone to sleep and Fluttershy wakes her up and she's just like, "It's in the pancakes!" or something like that. And like the fact that she cross-referenced one book to a different book and like translated from Old Ponish, I was like, wow. And the fact that the Twilight's like, I am so proud of you for doing that. That's awesome. And I remember when we watched that up, we watched it with each other, like with talking over text. And you had said something like you were gonna say something crazy because I was like 2 minutes behind him or something like that. And he was talking about when Sakura couldn't rhyme. But I was thinking when I heard Mage Meadowbrook, I'm like, Mage fucking Meadowbrook. We finally got confirmation.
Which, to be fair, I think
turns out she's a fire pony.
Which, to be fair, I think both moments were fairly crazy in their own right.
Exactly.
So the next we've got. Okay. Here's a hot take.
Run. Love it.
Here's a hot take. Next is the Flutter Chord segment.
Mm-hmm.
Because John has here, and this is literally what it was, being nice to Discord. It goes to the season 4 premiere, then to the D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons episode, train station scene, and then it goes Keep Calm, Flutter On, and I'm just like, oh my god, you know what, man? Just give us the wedding, okay?
That's exactly how
You somehow got people to like that ship unironically.
I know.
So I think there's still plenty of mileage to get out of it. Even a diehard Flutter Dasher like me was like, you know what? If she's not going to end up with Rainbow Dash, okay. There's no reason to not canonize Rare Jack, though. I'm still pissed at that. But yeah. But yeah, the season 4 premiere, Keep Calm, Flutter On, and then the train station scene. Their friendship's really sweet. It's just a shame that Discord's a complete douche to everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But yeah,
and it was a weird thing when she was being nice to Discord and Keep Calm and Flutter On, because it's the specific scene where they're at her cottage, and when mainly Rainbow Dash, going back to her season 1 ways, was like, he's trying to gain your trust so you can't use the element against him. See what I'm saying? Like, it was kind of a weird episode in all reality. But it just felt so different and disjointed from everything else in the show. At least
I don't know why.
How I saw it.
I don't know why they showed them out of order.
I don't know. But
So next is the Rambau Dash episode, Deep Tissue Memories. So this was an interesting sequence. So they show their first meeting, and it's cool. Then it shows, what'd you write here? Getting caught by AJ and Rarity?
yeah, back when she was at the spa, and she's and stuff.
which again Twilight wasn't there for, but whatever. And then to where she confesses that she stole the Daring Do book. Them pranking with Pinky, which that could have been a YouTube channel if Equestria had YouTube. Yeah. Welcome back to Pranking with Pinky. Today I've got a new prank for you. It's called Faking My Pregnancy Gone Wrong. So next is a section that John just calls awesomeness.
Yeah, basically like how Rainbow Dash considers herself awesome in these. So like when she's hanging out with Gilda, when she helps with her wrap up, and she's like going around and they create that fucking cyclone or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then when she just barely qualifies Ponyville with the Equestria Games relay race, and then when she goes in and just kicks the fucking dragon, it's like, get out!
Oh yeah, which I'm like, wow, okay, that's cool. Only one of those moments isn't from season 1.
You know what I find crazy? What I wish they had done. Someone, maybe it should be me, should have done something along the lines of where Rainbow Dash goes and he does the get out and kicks. But as soon as the kick happens, it should be like something along the lines of like Mortal Kombat where it goes to the internal shot.
You know what? I would have paid you money if you made that.
All right.
So next is now this was an awesome moment, I thought. Thanks for the memories. Is still a 10 out of 10, and it was awesome. That scene of Fluttershy shooting her straight and then crying. That's like wank material for a whole year, bro.
And I love how it's Fluttershy who makes her snap as like, Rainbow Dash, your winter is going to be petless. And that which in a way
that makes sense, because if they're childhood friends, let alone best friends, I mean that's what best friends do, they don't give a shit. Well, they do, but they know you gotta be tough with them.
And I love how they're also like, I said this in the review, but I also say it here, is that friends who laugh together cry together, and that was really good too. That it's the actual Sonic Rainboom.
Which, yes, of course, I understand why you include that. It's not only arguably one of Rainbow Dash's best moments. It's also legitimately one of the most iconic moments in the whole show.
Exactly. And then it goes straight to when she becomes a Wonderbolt and completely fucks up. And I know.
Oh yeah.
And I know. Because I've been going through our reviews again, and I gotta say, you were saying that Newbie Dash as a whole, at least to you, was cathartic AF.
Now listen. I'm by no means a sadist, and I wouldn't say I like to see characters suffer. But what I am telling you is that watching Rainbow Dash make a complete twat of herself is really funny to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
The next is a montage of a bunch of 28 pranks later shenanigans.
So like when she pranks, the 3 I can remember is Big Mac, Mr. Cake, and Spike. So like with Big Mac, it's where she puts that humongous boulder on top of his cart. And he just falls down the hill.
Which I remember, I think I said this in an interview, that's not a prank, that's attempted murder.
Same thing with fucking Mr. Cake. It's like, great for them dental bills? Just saying.
Oh, Jesus.
He bites into a fucking brick.
It's like what is this, MLP or Jackass?
Yeah. Exactly.
So then after,
You were talking about is this MLP or is this Jackass? I'm now thinking of the first Ponies the Anthology. It's just like, in either case, Hasbro insists that neither you nor your dumb little bronies attempt any of the shit happening in this show. Oh man. And then also when Spike keeps blowing out the letters and Celestia's fucking buried in them.
oh yeah, dude, that's classic.
Oh yeah. Then it actually goes to Rainbow Falls, which I know everyone's
Which again was an episode that when it came out, your boy was pretty liking it. At least I think I remember liking it. Man, season 4 was so good.
Yeah, I'll say this: a lot of people are going to be kicking and screaming at this clip. I'm like, what the fuck? That's actually a good episode. Stop.
Yeah, dude, season 4 got way too much flack. The only thing I could maybe give season 4 is that there were times where, despite the keys being a thing, there were times, I'll admit, it got a little too slice of lifey, maybe a little slower, a little boring. But I legitimately feel season 4 is one of their best seasons.
And honestly, it's weird because it took season 4 and the final season to get the 2 episodes that we hate the most, being 246 Great for season 9 and Three's a Crowd for season 4.
Listen, it's like I always say, in some ways, the show got better and better. But not always. So next is the but yeah, Rainbow Falls is good. Watch it again. It's good. Plus, bro, the pop for Derpy, are you kidding me? That was huge.
And it's funny because I remember watching that clip and I had forgotten that when everyone does their collective gasp with Derpy, instead of a gasp from her, it's literally a child screaming. Oh,
you know what? I liked what they ended up doing with Derpy. I just feel like they implemented it a little too late because I feel like there were plenty of opportunities for... Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I forgot. Hold on. I ended up liking what they did with Muffin. I just feel like it was a little bit of a wasted opportunity. I feel like they wasted a teeny tiny bit of an opportunity with her because, well, whatever. Point is, yeah. So the next is the Shadow Bolts, which I always thought the idea of the Shadow Bolts was a neat thing, and I know there was really no other way or time they could do it because it's so specific for Nightmare Moon. But I always kind of wished in some way the Shadow Bolts either showed up again, or maybe they did something else for this part, and then the Shadow Bolts came later. Because if the Shadow Bolts showed up in season 3 or 5 or something like that, then I think that would have been an interesting thing to see Rainbow Dash make the decision she did. Whereas here, she just met the other 5, so I'm not saying it's a bad moment. It's good. But partially just because the Shadow Bolts just look freaking rad.
Then it goes into Twilight's flying lessons from the beginning of season 4. When she
season 4 was good. Watch it again. It was good.
When she goes and just fucking face plants into the ground.
Oh, dude, it was great. How do you not love that? How do you not love that? And then you just... And then you have here worst episode moral.
Yes. Because they had to fucking reference 246 Great.
Now, for those of you just tuning in, let me give you a recap. The episode blows. It's probably the only episode worse than Three's a Crowd. I can't remember if Carts with the Ponies is my least favorite episode in this franchise, but it's one of those 3, and 246 Great comes really freaking close.
Exactly. And I gotta say, the whole thing, and it left a bad taste in my mouth.
Just want to say
what I want to say. One thing that kind of pisses me off and left a bad taste in my mouth is right after this, like the whole thing is where Twilight's just wanting to enjoy a day at the spa because she's been so fucking stressed out. Rainbow Dash keeps going and busting in on her, and she decides to become a deep tissue massager for Twilight at the end. And oh my gosh, this is not Rainbow Dash, okay? The end of this, she's fucking crying, and she's like, I love you too. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, seriously, what the fuck is this?
You know, I forgot how strong you felt about this.
Oh my gosh.
You know what would have been better? Do you know what would have been legitimately better? And this would have been a sick bit of canon wielding of welding, is that this is all about Twilight giving her memories of moments with them. You know what would have been awesome is if, like, you know, Rainbow Dash, I do have a good memory of you, although technically you weren't there, but you were also there. And it's like, what? And then they just show the clip from Rainbow Rocks where she plays Awesome as I Wanna Be. That would have been great.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Okay, so next up we have Applejack.
And I gotta say,
Harvesting Memories, which I'm not gonna lie, bro. Just saying, sounds kind of grave mind from Halo 1. Just, you know, or from the Halo games, you know, just
harvesting
memories.
That's right.
That's
Yeah, I
metal
remember that.
dude.
But I gotta say, this, like, in terms of the new footage, this was probably the funniest of them all, because Starlight and the beginning where Starlight puts on Twilight's mane and is like, let's practice this where you're not going to lie and say, or you're not going to tell the truth and say, oh, this is for a super special gift. And I know we're jumping ahead here, but right in the middle, when Applejack's just like, but you know what? I need to tell you the truth. And Spike and Starlight are like, no. And Applejack's just like, I just wanted to reminisce, you know, and all that stuff. And then you see Spike just wiping his claw over wiping his forehead. But then it cuts over to Starlight, who's doing the same thing, and there's a chicken on top of her mane, also wiping its forehead. I just love that little bit. But some of the things that went back to it was when she demonstrates honesty for the first time, where she's just like, "Let go. Are you crazy? No, I ain't. I promise you'll be safe." And I love that, because that, I feel like, was the most powerful one that happened with all of the season 1 premiere was that specific scene. That was just great.
Wouldn't the first moment of honesty be when she told Twilight her name? I mean, you don't have to tell someone your real name.
We are anonymous. Then it goes on to the moral of Honest Apple, and I really love how they didn't mess it up, because even though I didn't really like the episode, I still liked that, because most shows that I've seen, and I know I'm taking this kind of from taking it too seriously, but Josh Coacher's right. There's a lot of shows that will just be like, oh, I'm going to say that I like this and all this other blah, blah, blah. But the show doesn't do that. The show is like, I still don't understand fashion, but I'm going to respect the fact that you understand it and you want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to work from there. And then it goes to the snort fest that is on Leap of Faith.
Yeah, you know, I remember my thing with it being, it was just kind of boring.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess everyone must have thought so too. That dude never showed up in another episode again. Coco Pamel showed up Coco Pamel showed up like twice.
Mm. Well, she was the only memorable, worthwhile character.
Yes.
But then we go way back chronologically, all the way to where the apple lies.
Oh, yeah.
Where Big Mac's about to get his fucking his leg cut off, and Applejack having to explain what's going on. I love that episode. That's such a funny episode. Then we find out how many people are coming to the Apple family reunion. That everyone's coming, and I love how excitable Apple Bloom is, where she's just like throwing all the invitations everywhere. And she's like, even Babs is coming. I get to see my favorite cousin. Okay. Why didn't you mention any of the other cousins? Just saying.
Yeah, never again, by the way. That's the only time Babs Seed ever shows up again.
I know. And all the times they went to Manhattan, they never went to see Babs. And to have Babs do the eastern branch of the CMC. It sucks. Then
it doesn't suck. It just it sucks.
Yeah. And then we get to Raise This Barn, which one of the only Applejack songs I really remember. Like
I liked it.
Specifically singing instead of with anyone else. You know.
Yeah, no, I liked it. I mean, I thought it was catchy, at least. I mean, come on. How could you not? Raise this barn, racist barn. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. And then we have the Applejack's Day Off mural, where she's going and clucking like a chicken again. And she's doing all this random stuff just to get the fucking barrel knocked over or whatever, and she's just looking around and she's like, what?
Yeah, so then next here we've got let's see, there's the day off, which we just talked about, and then there's the bedtime story to Bloomberg.
The fact that she's telling a bedtime story to an apple tree, that's fucking hysterical.
I know that a lot of people thought that episode was kind of dumb. Not that episode. I know a lot of people thought that scene was kind of dumb because it's like, bro, it's a tree. But I thought it was funny.
Yeah, and what I also like is this comes right after the fact where you have Twilight and AJ basically confirming that Applejack was weird. Because then you have the bedtime story, and then fucking Apple Jewel.
Oh yeah, you know what? Apple Jewel was quirky, I thought.
Yeah, and then Apple Teeny, when she gets
Apple
down on the joke.
Which I'm glad they referenced that episode at all.
Which I'm surprised that they were able to get Apple Teeny past the censors. Just saying. Because, in all reality, that's a fucking fruity alcoholic drink, and it actually made it past the censors. That's crazy right there.
Yeah, the show got away. I mean, it's not like the show that got away with the most stuff compared to other shows or whatever. But yeah, it got away with some stuff. Let's see. Oh, the overprotective AJ, which if you'll remember, this is when for some reason the writers decided to make Applejack really overprotective of Apple Bloom, even though she's never like been that way. I mean, she's been protective of Apple Bloom, but she's like, it's just like that classic like sitcom trope of like like when they said the kids at school wearing like I think it was like Fairly Odd Parents or whatever, where like they send the parents send the kids to school wearing a mattress around them so they don't get hit or something. It was funny, but it was the crux of the whole episode. That did have that one great line from Sweetie Belle in School where they're like, how do I impersonate Apple Bloom? And they're like think sass or something.
Yeah, it was do it like everything Apple Bloom does with sass.
Then after that, it's the Sparkle 7 thing.
Yeah, her distraction as Apple Cord. That's just funny. Oh man.
Then the first time she met Twilight, which was the most normal one. You know, Twilight seemed pretty pissed at that time, but dude, she ate so much free food.
I know. And then she spit it back out.
Yeah. Let's see. Then there's it just says letting Twilight plow.
Yeah,
Wink.
back in Winter Wrap Up when she does the come to life spell, and it's like,
Wink, wink,
what's going
nudge,
on?
nudge.
What's happening there? You used that, didn't you?
Next is when she confirms Twilight's suspicions about Chrysalis.
Yeah, and she's like, sorry, Twilight, we should have listened to you. It's not your fault. She fooled every pony. Yeah, she
I
really-
read so many fan fictions in between and after season 2 and 3. People just writing fics where they were just so pissed at the rest of the main 5 and Spike and Celestia for not trusting Twilight. It was just such a testament to the times. But yeah. Next is trying to cross the street in Manhattan.
Which I love because from the overhead camera shot, it was legitimately looking like a game of Frogger. Just saying. When they get to the end of the line and you have that weird kooky gold pony that's like, it's the end of the line. Like really weird.
And then saving Apple Bloom from the Chimera.
Mm-hmm. Which, if we're going by Sounds of Silence from the previous one, they should have had the Kirin Tail played, in all honesty, I think. Because that was still the best thing of that episode.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, bro.
Yeah. And then saving Apple Bloom from the Chimera. Man, that's crazy.
Muy loco in the coco, hombre. No, but seriously, I mean, chimeras are scary things. I mean, the Manicore is one thing, but there was like 6 of them. This is just Applejack one-on-oneing a chimera with 3 kids watching. It's pretty badass. It actually makes up for some of that episode.
Exactly.
Then next is Memories and More. You see, my children, the idea is that they got all of Twilight's most precious memories, and now I think it's Luna that points out, well, you didn't get everything. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, what about your favorite memories of Twilight or something? And then
it goes to Spike.
Aww.
It goes to Spike, and it's when he first hatches, which is awesome. When he decides to join the Gauntlet of Fire, hell yeah, that is still the most metal episode of the whole show.
It's pretty metal. Not going to fabricate.
And then going back to Father Knows Beast, which I had completely forgotten this episode even existed, in all honesty. Because it's where Spike goes in and he apologizes to Twilight. Because before, it's just like, oh, you're not my guardian anymore, or whatever. And it shows that X-ray of Twilight's heart breaking. But then this is when he goes back and apologizes, and it was like, Sludge turned out not to be my real dad. You just wanted shit, and I'm sorry. Which
I thought was pretty. That's really messed up to put in a kids show.
Exactly.
But it was good. I thought it was good. I thought that was a really good episode, honestly.
Yeah. Even though it was kind of forgettable.
Yeah. Next is Starlight. So the first thing she thinks of when she thinks of Precious Memories of Twilight is when they fought.
Yeah, when she puts that huge beam and Twilight comes in with the shield and stuff. I studied that spell for years. It's like, really? That's one of your memories. And then it's just all the different laser battles.
And then the laser battles, and then the friendship offer, and then the graduation announcement. I'm like, I know they've had good times together since then. I mean, granted, I think, the show realized, hey, wait a minute, Trixie and Starlight is money, but yeah. Then Celestia is like, Oh, I've only got like 2, dude. It's like when I became her teacher, and then the friendship decree.
Mm-hmm. When I'm basically saying, "Hi, Princess Celestia is allowing the unicorn Twilight Sparkle to live in Ponyville with her friends." It's like, makes you think they should have had more Celestia in the show.
Yeah, they should have.
And
That's
then
what
Luna,
we wanted. You could have.
and Luna finding out that it's fun to scare people, because she goes in and she does and I love this episode mainly because number one, it's an M.A. Larson episode, so it's automatically good. But also the fact that Luna is scaring, it's like, I don't know what that was meant to do. And then you have Pipsqueak tugging on her mane and being like, hey, Princess Luna, if you're not busy, can you come scare us again next year? It's really fun, scary, but fun. Thou likest for me to scare you?
Which
It's
was
really
great.
weird that she talked to King James for the longest time.
and then the funny thing about that is that then it goes from this nice wholesome memory into her admitting her own self-hatred with the Tantabus stuff, which is an eldritch it's that's basically what the Tantabus was. It was a ethereal space being made up of stars. It's sick. Lovecraft would have been like, that's awesome.
Right.
And then
it goes to where they Starlight and Spike go back to the
Does anyone know how the deadlights work?
They're like, you know what? What are some of your favorite memories of Twilight? And I love how Fluttershy goes first, and it's where Twilight's fucking ecstatic about going on the friendship lesson with Hupfields and McColts, and she just like goes in. It's like, see, my butt's glowing. Look at it. And she's like, I have all these books on the subject ready to go and stuff, and I'm like, wow, just wow. And then from Best Gift Ever, her traditional holiday meltdown, where she's just like, oh, I need 5 of these, I need 6 of these, I need this. And she's like,
I know I said it, but they went back to that Christmas special like 3 times. That episode was really good.
And then it was then you get to when Applejack's just like, Twilight, how's your day? I can't talk right now, I have to do this. Twilight, breathe in and let it out slow. I gotta say, Applejack like embodied, that was her entire personality on display in that one little line.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's them reminiscing after the coronation, and it's after she got the book, and they're talking about how the spark that brought them all together with Twilight in the first episode, and how they defeated Nightmare Moon from that. And I was like, wow, it all came from a little spark of friendship that led to all this. That's crazy. And then it ends off all of it with the song "I'm All Bottled Up," where they're in that what is it, the escape room, and then they do the song, but they end it before it gets to the funny part where it's like, oh, you would have been 2 minutes faster if it was not for that song.
Yeah. And then that was the recap, or the clips.
Yep. Which, in all honesty, wow, that's great that they did that. Like, seriously, that was just fun. It was great it was a great way to reminisce, even though there were some episodes in there that were shit. There were still some good ones. Do you have a favorite part of this whole thing?
Not really a favorite part. I mean, I just kind of, I just kind of like the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Which for the first time ever, probably the last time, we are not giving scores to these episodes because I feel more or less this was less thinking about them critically and more about, hey, it's a good jumping off point for discussion and also to be able to just reminisce about the show. Especially because apparently Pony Life's coming out in like a couple weeks. It's really weird.
I keep hearing mixed things about that.
Yeah, but someone said that there's rumors that they may actually chase after Sparity, which if that's the case, I will totally watch it.
Disparity's not as good as Rare Jack, dog. Everybody knows it. You know it.
But again, that was my original OTP, so we'll see how that goes.
I wanted more Apple Spike.
But
Peaked for a little bit, but then it died.
here's what's funny though. One of the episode synopses I find like that sounds funny is that this character wants to see who's lazier, her or Rainbow Dash. And it's a picture of Rainbow Dash begging out in front of on the couch in front of the TV, stuffing her fat face with potato chips. That sounds absolutely hysterical.
I guess.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
We might review Pony Life. I have no idea. If enough people want to see it, we will. But I know we're just going to keep with the retro reviews for right now. So, which next time we will be going to lesson 0. Yes.
It's the big mother fricker of MLP episodes, my boys. It's gonna be rad.
Yep. So until next time, that's it from me, John.
And me, Sunday and the Make Skin.
And we will talk to you guys later. Peace out, Dragon.
Adios.